YouTube squad? Welcome to my channel. YouTube can be great. Instagram, YouTube can be _gr8_channel. Thank you guys for watching. So I posted something online asking you guys, because this whole Amber Gaia case situation has been popping up on my feed. So I said, you know what? Let me see if I can talk to y'all about it, and then what you guys would think. And y'all said you guys want to hear about it. So I'm gonna give y'all the rundown of what I feel, because I'm over here watching this and I'm thinking to myself, during the case, it says something along the lines of Amber Gaia got 10 years sentence for murdering somebody. And I said, all right, let me let that digest. Then the next thing you hear is, oh, and the judge got off the podium to give her a hug. Okay. Then the next thing you hear is, oh, and the guard was over here giving her a free massage in the middle of the courtroom after the case when they given her a hug and forgiveness is the thing. What the entire hell? What kind of bullshit is that? Oh, forgiveness is the thing we need to forgive because it's... No, that's cap and that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Let me tell you why that's bullshit. First, let's go through the rundown of how the case happened and what she did. So she was convicted of killing 26-year-old Botham Shem, and she's a Dallas police officer. They said that she mistook his apartment for hers in the Southside Flats and the Cedars for her own. And it's like one floor below her exactly. She mistook it, and then she went in. She opened the door and she felt like he was an intruder, and she thought that he was somebody that was kind of trying to rob her. She had her police uniform on. She just came off duty, and she went into the house and she saw this figure in the dark, and she assumed that it was somebody trying to burglarize her house. And she supposedly issued 2 commands, and when those commands weren't followed, she fired 2 shots, and it didn't kill him, but she fired enough to where he was down. When she finally realized what had happened, what she did, she called 911. And while she was talking to 911, she kept repeating, it was a mistake, it was a mistake. It wasn't necessarily the conversation of, please send an ambulance right now really quick. He has a bullet in his chest. He's having a hard time breathing. I'm trying to give him CPR to keep him alive. I'm really scared for this innocent's life. But instead it was a mistake. It was a mistake. I didn't mean to do it. And in the midst of her covering her ass, she did not forget to pick up her cell phone and text this individual called Martin Rivera that used to be her former partner. And while she was texting him, she said something along the lines of, I need your help. Pause. A minute later, she said, I fucked up. She was doing this simultaneously while she was talking to the 911 dispatcher. That was what was in her head. It wasn't necessarily, I'm just shot somebody. It's more so, what is going to happen to me when I'm caught? So that's what she did. So September 6, 2018 is when this happened. The 911 dispatcher sent an ambulance. They came. The paramedics did multiple CPR in his body. And then on his way to the hospital, he was pronounced dead. September 7th or late September 6th, they requested a blood sample for Geyer. Also, the police are now doing the investigation, because anytime there's a police shooting, there's an investigation that occurs to the circumstances of why the shooting happened. Then Police Chief Renee Hall closes the investigation and announces that the arrest of Geyer, that they're going to arrest Geyer, and also that they're going to place her on administrative leave. They're not firing her. Administrative leave. I bet you it was paid too. Then September 8th, you have Texas Rangers taking over the investigation and interviewing Geyer. And when they arrested her, when they filed, they said that they want to book her. She turned herself in to Cayman County, and she was charged with manslaughter. Manslaughter is a lesser charge to murder because it carries less years, especially in the state of Texas that loves roasting people in the gas chamber and doing everything they can. Electrocution, they are known for execution. So they decided to go for manslaughter to begin with. So they bailed her at $300,000. What kind of situation in which somebody loses their life that the bail is set at $300,000? It's supposed to be like 1 point something mil to prevent them from going out into society. But no, they gave her $300,000, and within an hour she was bailed out. And then she gets released, leaves the place. September 10th, Texas Rangers issue an affidavit released to the public. The affidavit reads as follows. She said that she parked on the 2nd floor. The door of her home was partly open. She thought she was being burglarized. It was dark. She issued 2 commands and shot Botham twice. Called 911. While talking to them, she was asked her address. She went to look at the front and realized it was not her place. They also said that she lived in this place for 2 months. And you telling me that when they asked you where you lived and you thought it was your house, that's how you processed it, that your instinct was to say, hold on, let me find the address. You stepped out to go and find out the address? Or was that after you realized that you shot somebody? I couldn't figure out what it says, but she had to go figure out what the address was after she shot the person that she thought was in her home. There's a little bit of a misconstrued story there, but let's keep going. September 11, 2018, a search warrant was issued for the locks of Jean and Geyer's apartments to kind of cross-examine them to see what the similarities are, along with other evidence. September 14, Jean's mother requested Geyer's being fired and calls her the devil. Then on the 16th, an email is confirmed that Geyer had moved out of the apartment complex. She no longer lives there. On the 24th, Chief Hall reluctantly, the 14th is when Jean required her fired. 24th is when the chief reluctantly fired Geyer, saying that the investigation confirmed that she engaged in adverse conduct charged with manslaughter. This was weeks, though, after the public outcry. And during this day, they also had Jean's funeral. October 26, 2018, Jean's family sues both Geyer and the city of Dallas for civil rights violation and use of excessive force. The lawsuit also stated that Geyer violated Botham's constitutional rights. By November 26th, a grand jury decided intelligently that this is not a manslaughter case. This is a murder case, and that's what we're going to charge this heifer with, as murder, because that's what it was. And then they gave her a $200,000 bail. And she posts out. So now we have $500,000 worth of bail, and she's out in the street even though she's convicted of murder. Does that make sense? Okay, let's move on. January 8th, 2009. Not convicted, I'm sorry. She was charged with murder, but they now have technically what they presume to be a murderer running in the streets for the rest of us. But okay, clock that in your head and just let that marinate for a second. January 8th, 2019, State District Judge Tammy Kemp issues a gag order after the first court day, saying that nobody is to talk about the case to the public because they don't want to affect how the jury answers and how the jury charges Geyer. March 18, 2019, the trial date is set for August 12, 2009. At a later date, though, the trial was moved to September 23rd. After a few deliberations, something happened. They moved to September 23rd. July 8, 2019, Geyer's attorney asked that the case be moved to Collin, Grayson, and other counties that are primarily dominance of white conservatives because of media hysteria. If media hysteria is an issue, why would you pick to move her to a dominant white conservative neighborhood? Because you know that it will fare for her. It will work to her advantage, and they'll just basically treat Mr. Jean, who's dead, as if this is a typical black person that just got shot. That's what would happen. But the judge, so far so good, she refused. Then she said that we're going to wait until we have the first jurors. We ask them questions, and unless we see something wrong, we're not going to move the case. September 22nd, one of the lawyers had gone and spoken to the public despite the gag order, so her lawyer took advantage of it and wanted them to have a mistrial. No, the judge did perfect in this case. We're not going to have a mistrial. During the trial, though, this is what we learned. We learned that in 2007, the man that she called or she texted while she was talking to 911 dispatcher, Martin Rivera, that we learned that they were having an affair. And this man is married. So not only did she kill this guy in cold blood, we learned that she's a homewrecker as well. And it also says that that partner of hers also had a case in 2007 where he murdered another 20-year-old black guy, or some guy named Brandon, that was outside of a convenience store because one of the things he was doing, I guess he had stolen candy, allegedly, or he was eating ice cream, or he was eating something, and it led into a shooting, and he got killed. And they requested an investigation to open up that case, because here we are talking about Geyer's case, and this is the type of partner she had, so hey, it made sense to look into that case too. Then, several officers took the stand and testified that they gave Botham CPR multiple times to try to keep him alive. The funny thing is, Geyer did not just have the ability to give him CPR multiple times to keep him alive, because he was still alive after she shot him. She also had first aid kit, and she also had this gauze type situation with her where she was supposed to primarily be used to stop the bleeding. None of that was opened. She didn't do anything. Instead, she was more concerned with calling her lover and covering herself and deleting all the messages and all the sexting and all the social media that would implicate her after this happened. And in order for a murder trial to go to a trial to even occur, you have to put in a not guilty plea for this to even start in the first place, because she wasn't guilty of the murder. So now they got to take it to trial and have the jury decide if she was guilty in the first place. Okay, then the defense then put people on the stand, illustrating how easy it was to make mistakes with regard to how the building was set up. However, this is the one that got me. When Amber was asked to demonstrate how she entered the apartment belonging to Botham, she went up and she cried hysterically, so much so that the judge decided to take a recess because she just could not illustrate how she got into the apartment in the first place. These magic tears, guys. September 30th, the closing arguments were given. The defense claims it was self-defense. That's what it was. Self-defense. A young man was in his apartment, minding his business. Somebody barges into his own home, telling him to put his arms up or screaming obscenities to him, thinking that they're burglarizing the house and put 2 bullets in there in his chest, unarmed, and it's self-defense. Y'all must think we're crazy. I think at this point we understand that the legal system is full of shit. We understand that it's manipulative bullshit. It doesn't exist for people who look like us and people who are melanated. We know that it doesn't work to our benefit. That part we know. But at least have the decency not to play us like we're just completely dumb by calling the situation self-defense. Then we have October 1st was when Geyer was found guilty of murder after 5 hours of deliberation. Then came the second. The jury now had to convene for sentencing. The prosecutor requested 25 years. Now, there's something called a mandatory minimum. If y'all haven't heard of it, mandatory minimum is a sentence that you're supposed to give. The judge has to give somebody no matter what they feel, because they're mandatorily required to serve the minimum sentence of the crime that they committed. It doesn't matter how you feel, you need to put your feelings aside. So the prosecutor requested 25 years because this is a murder trial, right? Then we find out later that she got 10 years. But here we go. The jury decided to go and plead for this so that way they can kind of get the sentencing down. And this is what they disclosed. There were a series of text messages that were deleted, but they obviously recovered. January 15, 2018, during the Martin Luther King Jr. parade in Dallas, another officer had texted her saying, "When does this end?" Laugh out loud. Geyer then says, "When MLK is dead." Oh, wait. Then it was supposed to be a joke. Then she suggested, "Well, just push them or spray your pepper spray in that general area to disrupt the parade commemorating somebody that had a huge impact in African American history." Pause. Then September 4th, 2018, someone said to her, although she may be racist, the dog's owner told Geyer, although she may be racist, Geyer says, "It's okay, I'm the same." She was then asked, "How did you feel about killing Jean?" Most people who felt guilty would say, "I have no words to justify the decision that I chose to make, the reckless decision that I made that cost this young man his life. He was only 26 years old. I don't even think an apology is enough, but I'll do my best to give one to the family because they deserve it. This young man did not deserve what happened. It was a poor judgment of mine. I will forever regret this decision. I wish I can take it back. I don't know what I can do, what I can say. I don't think words are enough. I just don't know what to say other than I'm really, really from the bottom of my heart sorry." She didn't say that. This is what she said. "I feel like a terrible person, narcissistic ass. I feel like a piece of crap. I hate that I have to live with this." Excuse me? You hate that you have to live with this? That's how you feel? You hate that. Okay. "I wish he was the one with the gun and he killed me so you can be a martyr. I never wanted to take an innocent person's life. I am so sorry." I don't know how I would have reacted if I was in the jury. Like, I don't think that I would be able to even stay quiet. I'd probably be the one singing there, sitting like, "I object. This bitch is full of shit." That's probably what I would say. Another text message was revealed from a fellow officer to Geyer saying, ... been in the area with 5 different black officers, adding, "I'm not racist, but damn." Because there are 5 black officers. What was he offended by? The blackness of the officers? Geyer then said, "Oh, not racist, but just have a different way of doing things." Let's be clear. We already know that when it comes to the legal system, when it comes to the position of authority, when it comes to position of power, when it comes to positions that make change in this environment, in this society that we live in, that was supposed to be the land of the free, there is a great effort to make sure that there is a disparity with the percentage and the ratio as it pertains to race of people who have those positions. Is the majority of whites, Hispanics, and blacks get the shitty end of the stick. We know that a fact. So this person understanding it because he knows, I mean, they know when you're evil and you're evil spirited, you know who you are. You're not that blind. So you know that this is already an issue and it benefits you, so you don't say anything. So that's why you're shocked to see 5 African-American officers in one place. And to you, it's probably something that disgusts you because it's not something that you would normally see Why? Because every time black folks would apply for this, they make sure to keep the percentage low because they don't want too many black folks as police officers. They don't want it because then they'll have no choice but to even the score and make sure that everybody's treated the right way. But no, so that's what he said, and Amber went along with it. Then they went along to now display, have the family members talk about what it was and how they felt about the situation. Jean's mom made it very clear that she did not like this woman and she felt like she was evil to her core. Everybody deals with this type of pain differently. She's a parent and she lost her child at his youth. He's 26 years old, well educated, went to school, living his life at his peak of survival and enjoying himself. He gets shot down just for being in his own apartment. Then you have the brother who everybody grieves differently. He chose to forgive and even asked to give her a hug because that's his way. It's good to forgive somebody for your own sake. Forgiveness is not a chore you do for somebody. It's a gift you give to yourself because it allows you to move on and enjoy life and what life has to offer. So I understand that part. What I don't understand is the judge. Why the fuck did you feel the need to get off your stand and give this person who has been convicted of murder, because the ruling by the jury was murder? When has a judge ever got down the podium and gave somebody who's convicted of murder a hug? Lady, I don't know what to say to you, but I know Judge Lynn Toller went and said that this is not okay. This is not how to behave as a judge. And more importantly, why is one of the guards, I think that was one of the guards, giving her a head massage in the middle of the courtroom like she's the victim? What kind of bullshit is this? You know what? We all need to understand what just happened, because if they went out of their way to go ahead and actually convict her and give her the 25-year sentence, that gives the public the real understanding for them to know that even though you are law enforcement, you are subjected to the same laws as we as civilians are, because we are also human beings. I have a lot of respect for police officers who do their job, who risk their life on a daily basis to protect, to serve and protect, and do it the right way. I have a lot of respect for those individuals because I've met a few people who did it right. What I don't respect is people like Amber and people like that have this opinion, that have these racist ideas within their heart, within their soul, and they're given the position like this and they end up doing what they're doing. It's messed up. It's wrong. And we have to sit up here and deal with this. So I read this case and I'm just like, this is some bullshit. I'm not, forgive. The family can forgive because that's what they're supposed to do and it's good for them. I'm not. This is a slap in my face. This is a slap in all of us' face, because I saw when they see us, those poor boys that were locked up in prison, and these are boys, not even adults, boys in prison for a crime they didn't even commit. I remember Emmett Till, who was tortured and beaten because he supposedly looked at a white person the wrong way. People who are convicted of murdering police officers, or even if it's a mistake, some drug. I didn't know there was a case where a drug addict woman, she ended up shooting a police officer, but she was on drugs. They gave her it was a capital offense. They gave her a life sentence. She's supposed to be on death row. So these are the consequences that they get, and they put these bodies in this prison, and they have them sit there and rot. Amber is clearly at fault. You can forgive, but you still need to serve the time that you deserve. But no, this privilege at its finest, and we're all gonna sit here and watch this shit and sit up here and talk about it's forgiveness. No, I'm sick of being nice. Sorry, black people. Sometimes you need to stop being nice. Stop taking the bullet and stop being the ones to eat shit every time something like this happens. Yes, I understand that we want to be the bigger person sometimes, but sometimes the bigger person means allowing certain things like this to happen so a lesson can be learned. I'm not changing my opinion on this, and maybe people won't agree with my stance, but judging by the entire case and how she handled herself, that is not a behavior of somebody who is apologetic or even remorseful. It's somebody who's trying to save her ass. So those piss poor tears that she gave, I'm not buying it. If I sat up in a stand looking the way that I look and I just said, I'm so sorry, I feel like it should have been me. If they're gonna give me the same leeway, they're not gonna do it. No, they're not. I'm sorry. So, and if you really felt guilty, this case should have never seen trial. It should have been just you saying, I'm guilty. What is the punishment? You know, that it shouldn't have never saw trial. You try to do it so you can get the lesser sentence, and guess what? It worked in your favor. So I'm not buying this bullshit. Sorry, I'm not. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell. Thank you, guys. Love you. Bye.